Hi, my name is Hallow. My body woke me up to take a piss. Um, I think of it as a tourismide thing, but or torsamide, if I'm saying it the right way. I mean, I'm sure before all this shit happened, when I was younger, I got up in the middle of the night to pee, but it can be pretty regular, especially if my body has quickly retained lymphatic fluid over a short period of time. When I call it the dumping. I still need to look up and see what the real word is. But when my body finally is, whatever variables fall into place to where my body's ready to release it all, it can be pretty brutal in the sense of at its craziest, I have to piss every like 20 to 30 minutes. That's not what's going on now. I've like over the course of this week, I was slowly drained. I did the math this morning. It's like 18. I lost 18 pounds this week. But I had gained like 19 pounds last week. So if you think of it in that context, it's not as scary or crazy. But it kind of freaks me out because there's no way that's good for your heart and your body to gain 19 pounds in 1 week and then lose 18 pounds the very next week. But I got to get rid of that fluid. It was reminding me because I've been doing good for a few months now. Last week reminded me how awful it gets because you do feel really bad and your energy level is really affected. And so yeah, I got to sleep for a few hours, I think, and then I haven't been able to go back to sleep. Been watching YouTube videos, um, really interesting topics, but I don't want to get into all that. Um, I decided, well, how about if I film an episode? I gotta say, it wasn't my idea to create this particular show. Most of my shows, my content is either my music or random comedy stuff or the live documenting my cat's adventures. But my advocate, my soul sister, is the one that talked to me about doing this. And I'm glad I did. I really am. I'm not somebody that would have thought to do this because I don't. Because it gets kind of raw. I'm being really honest with you guys and really talking to you about really private things going on in my life and stuff. But on another level, are they so private if it's topics and things that other people could relate to? Or what if someone finds my videos and it helps them with their journey? Because you really are kind of on your own. I mean, you're given the illusion that you have an entire medical team backing you and all that, and you do to an extent. And I don't know how much the pandemic has fucked up the medical industry in this country because it was pretty fucked before. So I don't know to speak on it. Things were kind of weird before the pandemic. So basically, my asking for help and going and starting to go to doctors and stuff, that started for me in 2017. So I had a few years to be in this medical system before the pandemic hit. But the thing that I didn't like, that I thought was shady before the pandemic, was when I first found out about my stuff. Like I have a job that is not able to offer insurance. So I hadn't had health insurance through a job for like a few years by that point. So once I found out I had all these problems, so when I first got diagnosed in 2017, I didn't know what was wrong with me yet. I had my leg had started leaking, but I didn't even understand what was happening at that time either, or the proper way to care for it, because that's very important. Knowing how to take care of your lymphatic legs makes a big difference on whether they heal or get worse. So I was too scared to even, I didn't even tell my soul sister about the leg leaking. I just totally isolated and didn't talk about it with anybody, and just, I remember and at the time I was working full time. I was working in my office, and I was constantly going to CVS like almost every week, getting medical supplies like roll gauze, and they call them surgical pads. That's what I used a lot in the early days. They're not really that good. You really need to find non-stick kind of pads, because the problem with the lymphedema situation is when your leg starts to heal and the opening closes up to where it'll stop leaking. If you're not don't have the right kind of pad on your flesh, and you go to change the bandage, it can take the scab off and you're back to square one. So there's all kinds of crap I guess I'll be talking about as the shows go. It's like, where do I even start, like I had something else in my mind to talk about when I turned the camera on, and now I'm talking about this. So it's just endless things to talk about. And hi. How you doing, Martin? Yeah, I'm talking to the people. You want to say hi to the people? The humans love you. You're so sweet. He's rubbing on my hand. Yes. Oh. Martin's just so awesome, you guys. I mean, I've had great cat friendships all my life, but I've just never seen a cat that likes people as much as Martin. So most of the time when I have a kitty, the kitty likes me and everything's cool, but they don't always interact with... Here, hold on. Turn this freaking commercial off. Oh, sorry. Okay. Like the kitty I had before Martin, Eeyore, he was 17. I got him as a kitten. So he was with me through the most formidable years of my adulthood. And he was the best companion. But I was always concerned about him because he had trouble bonding with other humans. He just kind of liked me, and everybody else he wasn't so sure about. I ended up moving in with my grandma, and she ended up bonding with him, and he liked her a lot. But it was funny. I remember one of the first things she was telling me when we first moved in. I was at work one day, and she was opening the closet in the hallway to put some towels in it, and she heard a hissing sound. And she realized Eeyore was in the closet hiding out. But eventually it got to the point where he would sit on her lap and let her pet him and stuff, because she's got great energy. All animals love her because she has such a pure heart. I mean, my grandma wasn't perfect. I know I kind of romanticize her sometimes. Now that she's gone, especially, I just really focus on all the wonderful, great stuff. But none of us are perfect. But man, she was pretty close to it, as far as like just always trying to be thoughtful of other people's feelings. And I think the best lesson I got from my grandma, watching her problem solve and interact with people throughout life is be good to people. Being good to people is a separate issue than shared ideologies with people. So just because someone doesn't think like you or live like you, that does motherfucking not give you the excuse to treat them like shit. We are all, and I'll speak in her terminologies, we're all God's children. God is love. We are all here to be good to each other and help each other. And that's why we're fucking here. That's the point of it all. Everything else is just bullshit. And that was my words. My grandma never cussed. The only cuss word I can ever remember hearing her say was damn. But that was around the time when Grandpa died, so that's totally understandable. But no, she was the type, she was very old school where I wasn't even allowed to, if I got upset as a little kid and I went, God, don't take the Lord's name in vain. She was that kind of old school with your diction says a lot about your intention and what you're trying to do. So be pleasant with it as much as possible. Don't offend people. So yeah. Wow, I got really off topic, didn't I? It's your fault, Martin. So let me think about one of the three things I was going to talk about next week. It's so crazy. Last year, when I first applied for SSDI, the Social Security set up a series, I think it was about 4 appointments. 3 of them were physical and 1 was virtual, to their doctors to evaluate me. And I had an echocardiogram done. It was very traumatic because they had no ability, adaptive equipment, or didn't even seem to know that there were fat people in the world. And they just weren't prepared to deal with me at all. They weren't able, it was just awful. But my soul sister came back and helped me get through it. But it was just awful. But the thing that sucked about all of it was I really wanted to see the results. And it was kind of funny. They've got a racket going on, y'all. The SSDI system is a very structured system in place where all these other industries have grown around it. It's very strange. So it was omens is how I feel about it now that I see that everything played out. It was kind of funny how every place we went, they said the same thing to us. Contact the government for your results. So they don't want to be bothered with us because they knew how crazy it all is. So I'm sure they've had a lot of people get pissed at them and call them and stuff. And they're like, no, we're not dealing with this. So the other thing I was going to get to about all that was I had 4 appointments, and when it was time for the first decision to be made, whether to deny my request or not, they denied it. And one of the reasons they gave was that they didn't have any information on me. And it still blows my mind. My lawyer said that's normal. Basically, I got a law firm to take my case on. So basically, we're in the appeals process right now. We have no control over when